morning, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday on the Morning Night Live. It is Twitter Tuesday. I couldn't decide if it was going to be Twitter Tuesday or TikTok Tuesday, but I was finding a whole bunch of stuff on Twitter that I found to be interesting and current and timely and all that other crap, and some of it's just funny. So I thought I'd highlight a few things, and that's what the show's going to be today. But before we do that, I just got to remind you that the 800th episode of the Morning Night Live is going to be on what date? That's Friday, right? Friday. Wait, is that Moon? Is that Moon from... Could it be Moon who was hanging out at on Leon's channel? I don't know. Anyway, so on Friday, the 800th episode of the Morning Night Live, I'm having some guests. Ruin Leon, who has blown up and is just killing it on the internet. A nice young man who I find very interesting. And then also Christian Watson. He's also another guy who I want to feature. And also we're going to start our Project 10,000. What do they call it? Project 10,000. I think that's what I called it. I got to think of a name for it. It's something like that. But anyway, we are... But that'll be a fun show because we're just going to talk about, I want to talk about the intricacies of being a brother on the internet with opinions that don't necessarily jibe with the mainstream of brotherhood. So we're going to talk about that and maybe talk about a few other things. Oh, cool. It is that Moon. Hello, Moon. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, so that's what's going to happen Friday, 800th episode. I'm going to start having guests on Friday, like I've been promising for over a year, and this will be the first shot at having some of y'all dropping in. So there you go. Anyway, so that's it. What the show's going to be on Friday. Today's show it's Tuesday, so we either go Twitter or TikTok. This week we go Twitter, and that's what we're doing today. So we'll do that right after the intro. Johnny, play the intro, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. Alrighty, stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Tuesday, the 29th of March, 2022. My grandbaby is a week and 3 days old. Or no, 2 weeks and 3 days old. We're coming up on that first month. It goes by as fast. Also, we're coming up on, so we're having the 800th episode on Friday. And then on Monday, let's see, isn't Friday April 1st, April Fool's Day? Wow, I don't know if I should have these guys on April Fool's Day, but it's the 800th episode, so it's timely. Well, and then Monday's my birthday, so we're gonna have two celebrations in a row. I forgot that I'm getting a year older on Monday, so it's just gonna be quite the celebratory weekend for me. And I don't know if we'll probably do a trail stop stream on Sunday too. I mean, the trail stop stream is a little less serious and a little more fun and just jokes and stuff. But we might be celebrating all weekend. So anyway. Today it's Twitter Tuesday, and because there's always plenty of well, can I swear this early in the in the stream? Uckery on the intertway. And so we're going to be looking at a little bit of that, but also I found some interesting things. Well, there's also news, because that's how I keep up on the news, right? You get news faster on Twitter than just about anywhere because people start talking about shit right as it happens. And so we're going to get caught up on certain news items and so on and so forth. But before we do that, like always, I want to say good morning to everybody in the chat who's here on time and bright and early. And there's a whole bunch of you. Hit the like button sometime during the show so you don't forget. First in chat today is our friend Avocados Diabli, who gets the bell. Thank you, sir, for being here. Appreciate you always. Also in the chat, Somnambul Nation, who's already tweeted out the show. By the way, share the stream before, during, and after the stream. Hit the like button, do that, all that stuff that all the YouTubers tell you to do. Also, good morning to Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
And Rotten Corpse, Chicago Mike's, Jaded Clay, Tyre Alexander's in the house, a.k.a. Prometheus Unchained. Good morning also to Zablaze. Zablaze in the house. Nice to have you back. I'm glad, Zablaze, I hope you're doing well. And we'll talk sometime like offline and see how you're doing. Tyler F., nice to talk to you. Nice to see you. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. Us San, welcome back. Good morning, Rockhoppers. Who else is here? Moon. Oh, Moon is someone we met over at on Ruin Leon's stream. It's funny. I've been in the last few days. I've been on his stream a couple of days. I didn't realize he's live streaming a lot more, and he likes to bring people on. And we had oh man, you should have seen this conversation we had Friday. We'll talk a little bit about that this coming Friday, but or maybe it was Saturday night. So I was on his stream, and this dude, what was his name? Moon, what's that guy's name that he's a little bit out there. It's chaotic something. Chaotic truth, he calls himself. And interesting fellow. I might have him on the show sometime too. But anyway. Also, so hello again, Moon. Also, K-Shaw. Did I already say K-Shaw? I don't know. Mike Savage, Blarg. And is that it? Spud Guns in the house. Chicago Mike. Jim Beam. C. Thomas. What's up? Penis. It's been a long time since I got to yell penis, because that's what C. Thomas does. What's up, C. Thomas? Nice to have you back. And Dumbbeard. Nomads in the house.
Stop. Hammer time.
Is anyone besides me know why I do that when Nomad's in the house? Does anyone know why? Anyway, if you know, put your answer in the chat. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. Good morning, Dumbbeard. I already said Dumbbeard, I think. And I think I got everybody. Special K on Acid and Renee Mayette. Nice to have you all here. All right. So let's get into it, because I was on, as I often do, I go on Twitter quite a bit, and I'll start with what I put in the thumbnail. Zombie Teddy, what's up? Nibbles, come on. And Woodcutters, what's up? Pennsylvania? No, not Pennsylvania. Nomad changed his name. He used to be MC, and the first time MC was on the show, it's like I made an MC Hammer joke. So now every time he comes on, it's like
Stop. Hammer time.
So that's it. Nice to have you back, Nomad, aka MC, aka
Stop. Hammer time.
All right, so let's just kind of go through some of the things I picked out on Twitter. No, I can't do that. I got an update on the news first. I want to talk about. We'll get into Twitter time in a minute, but I need to get into the just the update on this thing happening over in Eastern Europe. I know that it's only because this is an interesting things happening. Now they're trying to have these talks, right, over in Ukraine/Russia, this Russia-Ukraine conflict, which I do not have a dog in the fight. I'm like, y'all have been having your conflicts for thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, whatever. Not hundreds, thousands, but at least, there's been 300 years of some shit going on all over there, right? Well, now we have the war over there that everyone's supposed to put up their little yellow and blue flags in their bios and all that stuff. And you know what I saw? Did I say this on this channel? No, I saw it on, I think I was on someone else's stream. So in the parking lot at the place I work in the morning the other day, those little, you put that little white plastic flag up in your car. Usually it's like your favorite football team or some shit like that. And some people put American flags, whatever, that they fly in their cars. You got the little plastic thing, you put it in the passenger window or the rear passenger window, and you put them up there and they fly and blah, 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 blah when you're driving around. I saw some knucklehead with a Ukrainian flag on their car. And I'm like, motherfucker, you couldn't find Ukraine on a map if I spotted you Poland. You know what I mean? If I spotted you Poland, Russia, and Croatia, you wouldn't know where it was on a map. But you know, I gotta tell you, they're just. And look, I believe, and I'm gonna remind you, because someone's gonna go, "Oh, you're a Russian bot, you're Putin puppet and shit." No. I don't care about any of them. And Russia's wrong for invading. I guess they could have worked something out beforehand about something with NATO. Because look, Ukraine's never joining NATO. Vladimir. Well, which Vladimir are you talking to? Vladimir Putin or Vladimir Zelensky? They're never going to join NATO, Vladimir. There's always going to be the buffer. And even now they're saying they're not going to join NATO, but that's because they're getting pounded with rockets and shit. But anyway, here's the latest. Russian reset. Is Putin signaling an end game to the Ukraine war? Russia's apparent decision to change its Ukraine war plan underscores how Moscow is trying to secure territory closest to its own border, according to a weekend report in the Wall Street Journal. If true, that's a much bigger story than almost anyone has noticed. Quote, our forces and resources will focus on the primary objective, full liberation of Donbas, said Sergei Rudsky of the Russian General Staff on Moscow's official Russia 24 propaganda outlet. Now, let's go back a few weeks ago when I said, I asked you to go watch Nate the Lawyer's video on why Russia is invading Ukraine. And this seems to be very much in line with what he was saying. Because there's been a whole lot of theories, right? A whole bunch of theories. And, but the theory that he had was that when oil was discovered in Crimea, there's huge oil reserves in Crimea, right? And one of the biggest industries in Russia is oil, right? Huge reserves found in Crimea. Back in, I want to say it's 2010, 2011, something like that, right? And the Ukrainian government had set up a deal with some oil companies to tap those reserves in Crimea. Now, Russia's big commodity is oil, and then they start flooding the market with oil from Crimea. Well, that's going to, lower the prices of oil a little bit or whatever. And so Russia went and took over Crimea. And that was during another administration, not the last one, not the guy with the funny hair, because nothing happened during the reign of the guy with the funny hair. This is the guy, the melanated president. And so anyway, and then we didn't do shit about it, And now there's been big oil reserves found in eastern Ukraine. Where is the Donbas region? Where? Anyone see the map? I'm not even put on the map. The Donbas region just happens to be in eastern Ukraine. Now, of course, they say it's going to be a buffer for NATO, blah, 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 blah. But it's weird how now they're talking their objective is the full liberation of Donbas. That's just quite the coincidence. Anyway, I know this is boring, but it's interesting to me. So I'm going to talk about it for a moment. Anyway, Donbas, aka Donetsk Basin, is Ukraine's eastern energy-rich industrial area, populated in many cities, but mostly by ethnic Russians. Rudsky isn't making a whole lot of sense here. If liberating Donbas was always the main goal, then why wasn't the Russian army focused on it from the start? Well, because they already have a lot of help in Donbas. A focused invasion just of the Donbas using overwhelming force could have been a repeat of Russian strawman Vladimir Putin's annexation of Crimea in 2014. That effort was completed so quickly that Moscow was able to present it to the world as fait accompli, avoiding a protracted war and crippling sanctions. the part, would you say avocados down up there? I saw you said something about, where was it? Oh, y'all been talking up a storm. I can't even find it. It said, what was it? Oh, no, that was, C. Thomas. As AP said, this Ukrainian war is Russia and Russia light getting into a bar brawl. Oh, it's kind of right, isn't it? With a president who likes to spend a lot of time on green screens. I'm talking about the Ukrainian president. He's been on those green screens. I don't know if you've seen people talking about that. Mariupol's been taken, and while I think Putin wanted Odessa, he will take what he has now in the east and south. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Retro veteran gaming, good morning. So anyway, sounds like they're doing that. Now, on another note, though, apparently like you said, the Ukrainian city of Mariupol is in the hands of the occupiers, according to the mayor. Russian forces are in control of large swaths of Mariupol after weeks of siege and bombardment, the city's mayor said Monday. Not everything is in our power, Mayor Vadim Boyshenko told CNN on Monday. Unfortunately, we are in the hands of the occupiers today. Boshenko said fewer than half of the city's peacetime residents remained. According to our estimates, about 160,000 people are in the besieged city of Mariupol today, where it is impossible to live because there is no water, no electricity, no heat, no connection, he said. And it's really scary. And the apparent loss of Mariupol comes after nearly a month of heavy bombardment, the days of fierce fighting. Southern port city on the coast of the Sea of Azov has been the target of Russian ambitions since the start of the invasion last month. Part of an effort to connect Russian forces in Crimea with forces in separatist Donbas region to create a single front in Ukraine's south. In the process, the Kremlin has cut the city off from power, water, and food while shelling it from land and sea. Alina Krovna, a Mariupol resident who escaped the city in a convoy of cars, has made it to Poland, said that people in the city were melting snow for water and cooking on open fires, despite the risk of bombardment, because if you don't, you'll have nothing to eat. So that's very sad. That's not a good thing. Also, another report. So apparently Roman Abramov and Ukrainian diplomats have supposedly been poisoned after the peace negotiations, which is, that's weird. That would be weird. A key Russian oligarch and multiple Ukrainian diplomats were allegedly poisoned around the time of the early peace negotiations between Ukraine and Russia earlier this month. Roman Abramovich, a sanctioned Russian billionaire and close confidant of Russian President Vladimir Putin, and at least two Ukrainian negotiators began showing symptoms consistent with poisoning on the night of March 3rd after participating in peace negotiations, according to the Wall Street Journal. The individuals reportedly experienced pain and redness in their eyes and peeling skin on hands and face. Sources familiar with the incident told the Wall Street Journal. Interesting. Blame for the alleged attack was reportedly directed at Russian hardliners seeking to sabotage negotiations. Abramovich has acted as an intermediary between Russian and Ukrainian leadership, and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky reportedly requested that President Joe Biden not sanction him. The victims have since recovered and are not at risk for death, according to the Wall Street Journal, but the attack was seen as a warning not to further pursue peace talks. So interesting. I wonder why maybe the oligarchs don't want peace talks because they want that Earl. The Earl. They want the Earl on the ground. I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. Is this it? Now. Oh, did I save that? I hope I bookmarked that note. I got to show you something in a minute here. And then as far as Biden's gaffe, the regime change gaffe that the president made, well, none of the three occurred. Biden denies making foreign policy gaffes that the White House walked back. Okay, not like they're on video. President Biden appeared to be unaware that his surrogates had spent a fair amount of time cleaning up or walking back things, he said, while in Europe to bolster allies and discuss the next moves with regard to Ukraine. Biden, who appeared to tell troops that they were headed to Ukraine, suggested that the United States might retaliate with a chemical weapon if Russia used one first, and alluded to the possibility of regime change in Russia. He told Peter Doocy that those things would happen. They have a video of this. Yes, here we go. Here's the video. Okay, listen to this. Okay, here we go. This is
Are you worried that other leaders in the world are going to start to doubt that America is back if some of these big things that you say on the world stage keep getting walked back?
But what's getting walked back?
It made it sound like just in the last couple days, it sounded like you told U.S. troops they were going to Ukraine. It sounded like you said it was possible the U.S. would use a chemical weapon, and it sounded like you were calling for regime change in Russia, and we know
None of the three occurred.
None of the three occurred.
Okay. None of the three occurred. Interesting.
None of the three.
Mr. President?
You interpret the language that way. I was talking to the troops. We were talking about helping train the troops that are the Ukrainian troops that are in Poland. That's what the context. I sat there with those guys for a couple of
Well, I should pull up the clip, but I swear, he told those troops while he was sitting there, he said, "You're going to see it. You're going to see it when you're there. You're going to see mothers and children in front of the tanks. And some of you've been there, and you're going to see it. I know you're going to see it. It all happened."
Come on, man. Hours. That's what we talked about.
So when you said you're going to see when you're there,
Yes,
we're not
you're going to see when you're there.
intending.
I was referring to meeting with and talking with the Ukrainian troops that were in Poland.
Oh, yeah. You're going to see mothers and children in front of the tanks. That's what I was talking about.
You said a chemical weapon use by Russia would trigger a response in kind.
A response in kind. You know what is okay. In the chat, when someone says, okay, if you punch me in the nose, you will get a response in kind. Please, in the chat, type what you believe a response in kind would be to a punch in the nose. Okay, well, listen to this while you're answering.
It will trigger a significant response.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to tell you. Why would I tell you? You got to be silly.
The world wants to know.
He was talking about the women in Donbass in 2014. Were our troops in Donbass in 2014? I'm not sure.
The world wants to know a lot of things. I'm not telling them what the response would
A
be.
kick in the nuts.
Russia
A
knows.
kick in the nuts. Sending Will Smith. He'll come and slap the black off you. Or whatever it is you got on you. Sending Hunter over for... Oh, you know what else? Speaking of Hunter Biden, and I don't want to talk about his laptop. But it is that, you know what? I should put an article. There's an article, real good article in the Federalist talking about how Biden's laptop is a national security risk, which it kind of is. But let me just, isn't it weird? Is it just me? Is it just me? How we are all so gung-ho about Ukraine, right? How everyone, all the blue flags and all the Democrats and even a lot of the Republicans and whatnot. And I'm thinking to myself, does this whole thing have something to do with the fact that so many of our politicians have interest in Ukrainian energy companies, and the Russians are out here tearing up the whole energy-rich areas of Ukraine. You know what I mean? I mean, oh, good morning, Tex AG, Jeffrey Russell Jr., Murray J, Simic Magic, welcome to the show. It's such a coincidence, just such a coincidence that, Hunter Biden was part of a Russian energy company, and Romney's kid, and Nancy Pelosi's kid, and somebody else's kid. Anyway, and could you imagine? I wonder, as they were making these oil deals or whatever, I wonder how many of the Congress critters, and I mean Congress critters on both sides now, because it's not just the Democrats either. So I'm wondering how many of these Congress critters, may have heard that, oh, wait a minute, Hunter Biden was invested in these Russia or Ukrainian oil companies. John Kerry, yes, Lurch himself. They were all invested in these Ukrainian energy companies, right? And I just wonder how many other Congress critters were invested in Ukrainian energy companies. Now you were just messing up their whole thing, and everyone in Congress is mad. I mean, not that we want the Russians invading any countries, but it is weird that we're all so into Ukraine. I just wonder. I don't know. Anyway, what else? Did he finish his sentence here?
That was the response.
Yeah, so anyway, he denies he even said it, which is crazy. And it's unclear why Biden was not aware that those three comments were walked back by the White House, which they absolutely were. Interesting, though. Anyway, so that's my Ukraine update. There you go. And I think I might have some Twitter shit about this too. But anyway, all right. So now we'll get into some of the Twitter trash. But first, I'm going to shill. So. Well, you know what? Here's something I haven't done. I'm gonna play my little commercial. You just watch my commercial for a minute. I gotta warm up my coffee. Hang on a second. Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it. You're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at pdognight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show. All right, enough of that nonsense. Hit the like button and share and all that stuff that I said in that thing back there. All right, let's get into some of the Twitter stuff that I was dealing with earlier today, and as I deal with often as I do. So this one was interesting because, as you know, Ron DeSantis yesterday signed the parents, he called it the Parents Something Rights and Education Bill, right? And as we know, that the activists who are very, very upset about this bill call it the Don't Say Gay Bill. But, and because, back when I was first hearing that whole Don't Say Gay thing, I was like, why would they write a bill where you just can't say gay? That's stupid. That's just like weird. I mean, not that, I don't, because I generally don't care about that shit, but I just didn't understand what it was. And then I read the bill and I'm like, wait a minute. This is just saying that for 9 and under, you're not teaching sexual orientation and, gender, whatever shit, right? Until they turn like 10 years old, 4th grade, 9, 10 years old. Not when they're 8 and 9 or 7 and 6, because this goes back to all the way to kindergarten, pre-K, that people are mad that they can't teach this stuff. So I was like, okay, well, so I'm reading the bill. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that. I mean, why are we teaching any sexuality stuff before at that time? Why did you need to teach kindergartners about sexuality and whatever? So it was like, and then the bill specifically says, there is age appropriate, whatever stuff's allowed, and they're determining that in their curriculum and whatever. And I'm like, is that something that needs to be taught prior to third grade? You know what I mean? Oh, Renee, thank you. You are so sweet. Who says? She said, we like you. We really like you. So, and people are still up in arms. They're saying, this bill is, don't say gay, don't say gay. And even in the Oscars, right? They had their little skit, and then they're like, gay, 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 gay. This is for Florida. Gay, gay, gay. Well, nobody cares. That's not what the bill says. And in fact, all the things that they're saying that you can't teach in kindergarten, pre-K, first, second grade, third grade, before like 9 and 10. Fourth graders are 9 and 10 years old, right? So you can start introducing those concepts when they're 9 and 10 year old, just prior to them all starting to go through puberty. Because why do you need to learn before that? Why is it so important to these people that they want you to teach it before they turn 9 years old? Prior to puberty, prior before these issues start coming up. Well, there are other things. Well, you might be, it might cause you to discriminate against trans kids and gay kids, but it doesn't do that. It just says we're not going to use this as part of a course curriculum, right? And so I'm like, there's people like, now look, this guy, by the way, let me go back to my disclaimer. I need to read my disclaimer. Something very important to me when we talk about things like this, especially on Twitter Trash or Twitter Tuesdays, right? It's very important to remind you, and I'll just read my disclaimer here. It's up here high in my description here. Important. The people I talk about in my videos and live streams are just normal people with various opinions and their own lives. I don't need any help defending my positions. Thus, I would strongly prefer that you didn't contact them. If you have something new to add to the conversation, I'd love to hear it in the comments section below or in the chat. However, if you feel compelled to reply to them directly here or on a different platform, I only ask that you do so in a respectful manner, as your treatment of them can also reflect on me. They always figure out where it came from. So all I'm saying is be nice, and if you're gonna flame them in your own name, not mine. Thank you. All right, so that's my disclaimer. And before I move on, thank you, C. Thomas. You are the superstar.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor
of the day. Thank you for sponsoring the show. C. Thomas, drop a deuce in the tip jar. Thank you, sir. It says Ron DeSantis' bill is to help stifle the alphabet tribe's unending urge to sexually groom kids. The alphabet people are against this bill who are against this bill are either ignorant of its contents or flat out are peds who fap to the idea of sexually grooming children. Well, not necessarily. Although could be some of it. And thank you again for sponsoring the show. I appreciate that. I would just say that there are actors who believe that they need to start teaching these things to kids as soon as they're able to talk, okay? And there's some who truly believe that if you just make it normal, then everything's normal, right? But here's my issue with that. Having raised children and having dealt with children who are, we used to run a daycare, and I know that children don't give a crap about that because it really doesn't cross their mind. Kids are just kids. They're just kids. And if you just treat all kids respectfully, while they may ask a question about it, it doesn't necessarily need to be a part of curriculum. That is my personal opinion. It doesn't need to be a part of a curriculum. And what's interesting in the Florida bill, it says that these things cannot be a part of the curriculum until when? 4th grade. So if they were saying, don't say gay in the schools, why would it just be limited to 8 years old and younger? So suddenly in 4th grade, it's fine. In 4th grade, just say gay all you want. Well, what starts happening to some kids, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, kind of between 4th and 7th grade, kids start having that puberty thing happen. And so maybe you can start introducing the concepts of people having different, having different why would you teach it before they even have starting feelings like that? I just don't know. I don't know. And so I don't even have, I'm not understanding the giant pushback. Now, maybe the activists in the alphabet communities feel like, oh no, this is a slippery slope. We're going to start banning this and this and that. Because, one thing that gets me, they're mad about some of the books that are being removed from school libraries. And I remember there's the one book that literally is a children's book that was in school libraries that depicted sexual acts, like illustrations, drawings of actual sexual acts. And activists were mad that book was being removed from schools. Now, now let me go into the tweet that I'm at, because this gets me to where I'm going here. All right. So Noah Kinsey, who I have a lot of respect for Noah Kinsey. Noah Kinsey's a very smart man and has very interesting takes on a lot of different things, but I disagree with him on this particular subject. And he's like, he puts hashtag Will Strip, Chris Rock, slap, Oscars, whatever. And he says, okay, now that I have the attention of hashtag searchers, here's something hateful and dangerous that's being buried in today's news. Ron DeSantis has signed the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. By the way, good morning, Legit Low Talker. And Ryan himself. Now, and my question, this little John Martin O'Connor, that would be me. That's where Marty comes from, John Martin O'Connor. That's not my legal name. See, I'm not doxing myself. That's my name before I was adopted. John Martin O'Connor says, what's hateful about the bill? Can you cite the section? Because I'm trying to figure out what's hateful about the bill. If you can start teaching this material in an age-appropriate way in 4th grade, and it doesn't, look, there's nothing in the bill that says you can't answer questions. Some kid comes and asks you a question, it's just not a part of the curriculum. That's what the bill says. It's not part of the curriculum. Until 4th grade, until 10 years old. It's not banning the word gay at all. Word gay is not even mentioned in the bill. But this guy decides to respond to me. The legislature's repeatedly rejected changes that address concerns. This breakdown is a reasonable explanation of the actual drivers for it. So I'm expecting this is going to be a very persuasive video about why this legislation is just hateful and didn't reject changes addressing concerns. I got a feeling that there are no concerns that this person would believe would be acceptable that could have been addressed with this bill. So let's watch this little TikTok. It's TikTok and Twitter Tuesday. Mariah Vegeta. Hello, welcome, and it's nice to see you during the show. Mariah is one of the people who is one of my commenters who watches on the replay a lot, but it's nice to have you here live. It's good to see you. And also, good morning. Did I say Midnight in Exile? I think I did. No, I didn't. Good morning, Midnight in Exile. How you doing? So here, let's watch this little ticky-tockety thingy here. And let's see here. Let's see if I can make this full screen.
So you might have heard from the office of Governor Ron DeSantis that if you don't support the Don't Say Gay bill, then you must be a pedophile. And
did he say that? I'd like the quote. I'd like to hear the quote that if you don't support the bill, you must be a pedophile. No, I'm pretty confident that unless please oh cool, this guy has his pronouns in his whatever this is. Anyway, no one's saying that, but he said it is definitely an anti-grooming bill, but it doesn't mean the pedophile. But anyway,
and you probably haven't read the bill at all.
Yeah, okay, so now he's going to put the part of the bill. Now, look, there's a whole lot in here, and he's going to highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. But let me give you the part that he's highlighting here, because he's always says sexual orientation. Classroom instruction. Classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through third or, note the word or, which means by school admission in third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students. Wouldn't that be the way you'd want instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity taught in a developmentally appropriate manner or age-appropriate manner? Why would you want it for anything, and why would you want anything less than that? But let's see what he says here. Good morning. Oh, thank you, C. Thomas. Another deuce, dropping another deuce in the tip jar, who said if the Alphabet Tribe weren't aggressive about their sexual LARPing and the fact that they keep pushing out any reasonable people from their degenerate fetishes. Okay, this is C. Thomas's opinion. Degenerate fetishist circle jerk they call an activist group, they wouldn't be getting this kind of pushback. Well, I thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Whoops, hang on. My friends who are LGBTQ, I don't know if they could, the ones at least that I know, I don't think they have a problem with this once they read this and understand that this is, all it does is make it age-appropriate discussions. You know what, the thing is, look, just like they don't allow pictures of people fucking in the 3rd grade, which they probably don't in the 4th grade either because it's not age appropriate, but you know what I mean? But then there's a book in the library with a kid giving a man a blowjob. Is there a disconnect here? I don't think it's appropriate to have books in the library of any kind of sexual act. So to claim that that is not a sexual act, first of all, is delusional. And second, why is there a book in my kid's school library depicting a kid giving a man a blowjob? That's what I don't get. I don't care what orientation it is. Okay? Probably not appropriate until, to be fair, the age-appropriate bit could possibly be used to keep anything out of the class at all, just declare it as not as age-appropriate, and it can be taught. Well, they have look, there's a, in Florida, they have whatever state curriculum guidelines, and they'll go and they'll spell out what's age appropriate and whatnot. So they have an area that does that. But good morning, here, Meredith. I see. Your point is well taken, though. I absolutely. There are certain people going to say it's not. But here's the thing. Do parents have a right to determine what their kids are taught at all? That's probably the bigger issue here. Do parents have the right, especially in a situation where you can be arrested for not having your kids go to a school, do they have a right to what their kids are taught? And even if it's based, or at least in the public schools, Do parents have a right? Who has the right to determine what kids are taught? Is my question. Real quick, thank you, C. Thomas, for sponsoring the show again. I appreciate that. He said I would have had more charity for these people, but their genuine degeneracy and insufferable arrogance has gotten very out of hand. This is why consequentialist ends justify the beans ethics is not healthy and needs to stop. Well, I appreciate that. That's interesting. I hear you. And then thank you, Tyler Alexander, for also sponsoring the show. Dropping a bullet in the tip jar. Says, I'm 36. I grew up with a gay mom and uncle. I was never bullied or needed explaining to when I was a kid. Gay people have been part of our culture and accepted for about 60 plus years now. Activists are trying to rewrite history to fit the narrative again. It's like, here's where I question this. So I bet if you go on any college campus today, people understand that there are gay people, okay? Without having it be a subject in a classroom, ages, they're talking pre-K to third grade, 4 through 9-year-olds. I can guarantee you, if you go in any high school in America, they understand there's gay people, and and it's a whole, a whole different world than when I was growing up. Okay, and I think my kids know there's LGBTQ people. Okay, did they have to be taught this in kindergarten through third grade? No. I bet you go in any middle school. Now in middle school, as people are starting to go through, often have gone through puberty or going through puberty, they have feelings and this and that, whatnot. And so wouldn't it be interesting that in Florida, they say, well, at about 10 years old, just prior to going to puberty, we're going to start having these discussions because that's when it's relevant to your life. It's not relevant to your life when you're 5 years old or 4 years old or even 9 years old. And you know what? If someone has 2 dads and they come to school, that's not classroom instruction. If some kid asks, well, that's unusual. I see all these other kids with mom and dad, and I see this kid with 2 dads. In third grade, okay, yeah, that's how their family. Some families are different. That's the answer. It's not classroom instruction. Why do you need classroom instruction in kindergarten through third grade? I don't get it. It's not about, oh my God. Anyway, let's let this guy talk.
Now, we've read the bill more times than we can count, but I figured I'd look again just to see if I missed something. And still, right there is a ban on classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity.
Okay. And? Oh, he's going to clarify why this is important to him.
Now, if gay is a sexual orientation and sexual orientation is a prohibited topic in classrooms, that sounds a lot like don't say gay.
Well, pretty much says don't say straight then either, does it? It also says don't say any other weird thing you can come up with that isn't acceptable, and which gay and straight, I assume, is fine, whatever. It also says don't say straight then, right? It says you're not having classroom instruction on sexual orientation because kids don't have a sexual orientation when they're 3 years or 5 years old. They may not even have one when they. Kids don't really need to be taught sexual orientation when they're 5 years old.
But I actually did walk away with questions like, what is this bill actually about? Some have said the bill is only about curriculum, but that can't be right because Republicans killed this effort to narrow the definition of classroom instruction to curriculum.
Did they now? Wait a minute. Oh, let's read this. Defines classroom instruction. Adds limits to what classroom instruction can be defined as. The list includes family structures, objective historical events, bullying prevention, a student's IEP or 504 plans, facilitating discussion between students, or answering questions from students. The bill doesn't say anything about answering questions. Classroom instruction. The list of family structures. Okay, that was an amendment they tried. Okay.
To curriculum.
Now this one, bans classroom instruction intended to change students' SOGI. What is SOGI? Removes the, quote, don't say gay provision. There is no don't say gay provision. Good God.
Others have said this is a bill to stop teachers from making kids trans. But that can't be.
Others have said that? Okay. Others? What? By the way, I think we know the increase in the number of trans kids is because people who come out as trans get celebrated and whatever. But then we find that even more kids are realizing that they're not really trans later. But oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway.
Right? Because Republicans stopped this effort to try to make it a bill that bans classroom instruction intended to change someone's sexual orientation.
Well, wait a minute. Sexual orientation. Okay, I see. Bans classroom instruction intended to change a student's sexual orientation. What? So he's saying that because they banned this part amendment that okay.
Change someone's sexual orientation or gender identity. Well, Governor Ron DeSantis and Fox News host Laura Ingraham say this is a bill about stopping us from teaching sexual topics to young children.
Okay, replacing sexual orientation and gender identity instruction ban with ban on sexual activity. Replaces prohibition of K through 3 classroom instruction in the sexual orientation or gender identity with a prohibition on K through 3 classroom instruction on sexual activity. Oh, I see. So they're okay. And they didn't allow this amendment. Okay, analogous amendment introduced by Senator Brandes in the Senate had language that would ban instruction on human sexuality, including but not limited to curricula addressing sexual activity, sexual orientation, or gender identity may not occur. And okay, so that's okay. And
but that can't be right either, because Republicans stopped multiple efforts from their GOP colleagues and from Democrats to make this a bill banning instruction on sexual topics for young children.
Okay, I'm confused at what he's trying to get at here. We'll let him finish, and then I'll get to Tyra's super chat here.
So I was left wondering, if the Don't Say Gay bill isn't about any of the things we've been told, then what is it really about? And I figured we'd let the person who filed it tell us in his own words.
Why is everybody now all about coming out when you're in school? And there really is a dynamic of concern of how much of this are genuine type of experiences and how many of them are just kids trying on different kinds of things they hear about and different kinds of identities. There's something wrong with how we're emphasizing this, and that all of a sudden overnight they're a celebrity.
And does that ring a bell with anybody? I don't know. But anyway, I don't know how this explains how this. It still doesn't talk about being hateful or citing the sections. It doesn't tell me why this is hateful and dangerous. That we just don't begin this type of classroom information until they're 10 years old. Because again, why do you need to talk these things to kids who are 9 and younger? I'm confused. Thank you, Tyra Alexander, for sponsoring the show one more time. I appreciate it. who says, I will solve this issue in a second. That will make I will resolve this issue in a second. That will make everyone happy. Teachers don't talk about sex or sexual orientation and just teach facts. Parents will teach children about sex and sexuality. You stay in your sandbox, they will stay in theirs. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Cannon Hotep. What's happening? Thank you again, Ty Alexander. Appreciate you. Again, this is one of those things that makes me go, okay, whose responsibility and whose right is it to determine what kids learn in their classrooms? Do parents have rights to help to determine what is taught in their classrooms? Are you allowed? So let's say, how would I put this? I don't want teachers telling students that. Let me. I guess it's hateful and dangerous because you refuse to fully endorse the degeneracy, and worse, you refer to our behavior as degenerate. Let's see. That definition of curriculum intentionally included things that they knew they would not accept, so that when it was rejected, they would be able to use it being rejected as ammunition. Yes, that too. That too. Anyway, so obviously big topic on Twitter because of DeSantis signing the bill yesterday, and there's already been some pushback, or at least not necessarily pushback, but so for example, this is Brian Lowry from the Miami Herald. It says by signing, he had an article in the Miami Herald. By signing this bill, Governor DeSantis has chosen to target some of Florida's most vulnerable students and families. What? How did he target them? Again, this is interesting, playing victim. So here's the article in the Miami Herald. The federal government, that being, says they'll be watching you, Ron DeSantis, after he signs the quote-unquote Don't Say Gay bill. This is some incredible marketing by the activists and the left and everyone who doesn't like this bill by calling it Don't Say Gay. Because it doesn't say Don't Say Gay. It does not say it. But they've labeled it, and that got the activists riled up. Dumb Beard, what's up? Nice to see you. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona said Monday that his department will monitor Florida's implementation of the controversial new law that restricts classroom instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity to determine whether it violates federal civil rights law. And you know what? Fine. That's fine. Cardona's statement hints at potential legal ramifications for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Why? Why are you? Oh my God! It's just saying they can't teach this until 4th grade. How does that violate civil rights laws? Someone said something about this being. Oh, what are the replies to me? Because I asked that question. I don't know if someone followed up with this. Said that this was a violation of free speech. No, it's not. It's like it's curriculum in the schools is not about free speech. It's not violate free speech. It doesn't say they can't answer questions. It's just determining curriculum. Okay, fine. They will not let me teach physics in 1st grade. That's a violation of my free speech rights. No, because kids aren't going to fucking understand it because it's a concept way beyond their comprehension at this point in their lives. It's not going to teach me. We're not going to let us show. They're not going to let us show the Christian Science Monitor in 1st through 3rd grade. No, that's a bunch of people fucking. I'm sorry, Christian Science Monitor is. That's who says that? That's somebody's code for Pornhub. that violates free speech. No, we just don't think it's age appropriate to show Pornhub videos in first through third grade. Now, and that's an extreme example, I understand, but you get the point. Anyway, Cardona's statement hints at potential legal ramifications of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' decision Monday to sign the legislation, which critics have called the Don't Say Gay bill. You know what's interesting? So, as I look at this, so I'm reading this article, right? Notice that they don't give the name of the first time you hear that a name given to this bill, it's the anti-bill name, the Don't Say Gay bill. Listen to this, because I read up here, Randy Monkey says that. Educational Secretary Miguel Cardona said Monday that his department will monitor Florida's implementation of a controversial new education law that restricts classroom instruction. And then the first time they give a name to it, they give the critics' name of the bill. The critics have called Don't Say Gay bill. That's just propaganda. That really is. You need to give the actual name of the law before you give what the critics call it. But that's the Miami Herald, so I'm not surprised. And this is Cardona. By signing this bill, Governor DeSantis has chosen to target some of Florida's most vulnerable students and families. How? How does this target Florida's most vulnerable students and families? How? Target them how? Holy shit, it does not. Make no mistake, this is part of a disturbing and dangerous trends across the country of legislation targeting LGBTQI students, educated individuals, Cardona said in a statement Monday after DeSantis signed the bill into law. How? This comes at a time when we know lesbian, gay, bisexual, and questioning students are 3 to 4 times more likely than non-LGBTQI students to report experiencing persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and even self-harm, not because of who they are, but because of hostility directed to them. Okay, so are you saying that not having classroom instructions on LGBTQI information in first through third grade will cause them sadness, hopelessness, and even self-harm? The only reason, if you're causing sadness because DeSantis signed the bill, is because you fuckers have overemphasized on something that's not in the bill, other than age-appropriate instruction, which probably isn't age-appropriate in kindergarten through third grade. 9-year-olds and under. Stop it. Anyway, so the federal government's going to be what? The federal government's going to be watching you, Ron DeSantis, you prick. Moving on. More Twitter trash. Kathy Griffith tweeted something the other day that I found really damn funny. This is yesterday. No, 25th? Oh, this is more than a couple days ago, but I saw it yesterday or 2 days ago, and I thought it was hilarious. She tweeted this: 4th booster, fuckers. Oh, and CVS gave us 8 free COVID tests for getting boosted. Yay! Where's my happy horn? Where's my party horn? There you go. Hey, yay! Okay, I have a question, Kathy Griffith, you dumbass. Check your logic. Why do you always ask questions about my title? We're going down the road of Twitter hell. Check your logic. Twitter hell is the answer to your question. Okay, so there's a problem here, Kathy Griffith, you moron. So, CVS gave us 8 free COVID tests after getting boosted? Why would you need 8 free COVID tests after getting your 4th booster? Do you not see the problem there, dear? Pure Bloods unite. Kathy Griffith, they gave us 8 free tests after your 4th booster? And then she's doing this muscle pose. I think you should be concerned, Kathy. They're giving you 8 free COVID tests after your 4th booster. Doesn't really give me much confidence in the 4th booster if they're giving me 8 free COVID tests after I take it. I'm just saying. All right. I'm running out of time, so let's get through this Twitter trash right now. FTG Kathy Griffith. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Share the stream. This is funny. Look at this. A 25-foot tall sculpture of a shark crashing through the roof of Magnus Hansen Heine's house in rural Oxford, England, is now a protected landmark, and he's not happy about it. I saw this, and I laughed my ass off. It's hilarious. Apparently, okay, so a 25-foot, 7.6 meter for all yous who use the that weird metric shit, tall sculpture of a shark crashing through the roof of Magnus Hansen's house. It's a protected landmark. Hansen Heine loves the installation erected by his father and a local sculptor in 1986 as an anti-war, anti-nuke protest that still remains relevant now as bombs fall on Ukraine and Russian President Vladimir Putin rattles his nuclear weapons. But he said the Oxford City Council ignored his father's other message this week when it designated the structure as a heritage site that makes a special contribution to the community. Bill Heine installed the shark without approval of local offices because he didn't think they should have the right to decide what art people see, and the council spent years trying to remove the sculpture. Using a planning apparatus to preserve a historical symbol of planning law defiance is absurd on the face of it, Hansen Heine wrote, a quantum chemist said in an interview with the Associated Press. So anyway, apparently... So his father put this structure of a shark crashing through the roof. The city council was pissed off and didn't want it there. And then years later, they're saying, nope, you can't take it down. And he wants to take it down. So anyway, the image of a shark crashing through the roof captured the shock civilians must feel when bombs smashed their homes. Magnus Hansen Heine said his father died in 2019. Heine and his friend, the sculptor John Buckley, built the Great White out of fiberglass and installed it on August 9th, the 41st anniversary. The U.S. dropped the atomic bomb on Nagasaki. Shark's anti-war message is just as important today as Russian bombs fall in Ukraine. Oh, yes, they are. I just, I feel so special that they did that. Why is my bell ringing? There we go. He should take it down and defiance now. Good point, legit. Low talker. Exactly. He should take it down. All right, let's move on because I got to get through this. RNC Research, Biden wants you to think Democrats don't support defunding the police. Here's 7 minutes of them saying defund the police. So we'll watch about 2 minutes just to show you of them saying defund the police.
Shuffle some of that money around. Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from
who is
police.
that? Wait a minute. Wait.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Who is that? Who is that woman? Who was that? That's I know her. That's that.
About $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
So yes, defund your butts. Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources from NYPD.
We will be moving funding from the NYPD to youth initiatives and social services.
They are talking about reducing the allocation of resources to that department. And I think every single city in this country ought to be thinking about the same thing.
Yes, I support the defund movement. I'm for responsible reallocation of resources.
And defund the police.
I think you do all those other things, you don't need all the money that's going to the police department. So yeah, I mean, the spirit of it, I do support that. Yeah, and a lot of us...
Okay, so this goes on for 7 minutes long. The idea that they never said defund the police is hilarious. So anyway, you can watch the whole video on your own. 7 minutes of Democrats saying defund the police. Can you link the tweet in the chat? Here, okay. Here's a good. What do I do? I don't want to say education. Just a reminder that all of these tweets and articles and things that I put in this show will be in the link in the description down below. Called the one-tab link in the second paragraph. Everything we talk about, everything I put all my references in a single link every day during the outro. Every single one of these will be linked in the description. All right, let's move on. Let's see. We got her. We got defund the police. We got the shark. We already did that one. I'm almost done here. I got a couple more. Oh, there's a whole section on Chris Rock and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. I just found this one's funny because this is in the Jada Pinkett was trending this morning on Twitter, and I found this one that maybe. Oops, what did I do there? Maybe, just maybe. Wait, if you use the money to buy unicorns and rainbows, you wouldn't need the police. Right, exactly. Rainbows and unicorns would be a welcomed addition to the removal of police. Anyway, so I just found this one funny. Now, Lucinda Wilcox here. I'll tell you in a second. I'll see if you notice. If you notice anything about this. So someone named Lucinda Wilcox Lucinda, says Chris Rock's joke about Jada Pinkett Smith was a direct attack on trans women with male pattern baldness. Will Smith was defending our community from literal violence last night. And I found this funny because I immediately, you know how you have to almost always have to quickly, sometimes you have to check, okay? You need to check if this is a parody account, which of course Lucinda Wilcox is. Lucinda Wilcox, the Ukrainian trans lesbian. But there are a lot of people who believe this because it's hard to tell parody from reality, because I'm pretty sure someone actually probably did the exact same tweet. Probably did the exact same tweet from a serious point of view. But then I wanted to go down to one of the responses down here, because someone down here said, to hell with black men who put black women down for the benefit of mostly white audience, as if getting slapped on stage is worse than humiliating something because they're disabled. So, but when real people generally consider yesterday's joke an attack on the disabled, you can see how it becomes difficult to know which opinions are real and which are being facetious, because that is a real opinion that somewhat mirrored Lucinda Wilcox here. So anyway, I'm going to try to not talk about Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith anymore. If you're going to defund the police, there should be mandatory gun training for civilians. Got to protect yourself. Well, yeah. I'm in some countries, like in Switzerland, I think, where they are required to have a gun in every home. That's an interesting thought too. And there's not a whole lot of gun violence in Switzerland. But anyway, next one before I get out of here, because I want to get to the rest of these. Oh, this is that whole Jada Smith. She was trending today. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Chris Rock was highlighting the celebrity. Okay. Oh, that's the Lucinda Wilcox. Oh, it moved up into the top ones. It's like number 2 now. And then, our friend Tailed Feature had a funny on this one too. If Jada Smith doesn't like alopecia jokes, then that's just hair loss. You get it? Hair loss? Why is nobody clapping? Oh, okay. You figured it out. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, there's a whole, I'm just going to link you to the entire Jada Smith trend today. And that'll be in the tab below too. Finally, this is my favorite of the day. And this is from a few days ago too, but a couple days ago, and I have a great suggestion for you. This is how I'm going to finish the show. So this is someone celebrating my great grandma's birthday, and this woman apparently is 122 years old, right? And I thought it was a great. I just love this. I mean, this is great. Although I don't know if I would want to live to be 122, but she turned 122, and someone said here, and mentioned this, said, please write down every story she tells in as much detail as possible. They tried to whitewash history, so her history is valuable to all of us, which I thought, I understand what he's going there. And I thought, hey, there was something that I did that I'm really happy that I did when I did it. Okay. And so I wrote the suggestion down, and now it's pinned on my Twitter account, which is at Dawg Knight. Up there, I'm all my social media. I'm at Dawg Knight, and I made this suggestion. I would suggest this to anyone, any of you too, my people in my chat and people who watch this stream later or whatever. May I suggest that you take your phone or camera and take a video interview of a grandparent or the oldest person in your family about their memories and share it with your kids, your family, or anyone else in your family. I did that with my grandmother in 1997. And I also did it with my mom, who, my mom passed away in December. And probably the smartest thing I ever did. I have a video that we took in 97, my grandmother telling stories, her family stories, talking about her parents, talking about her grandparents, which she only knew two of her grandparents because, she knew one of her grandparents because both of her parents, her father was born a slave. And so she never knew those grandparents, although she did eventually get to go to, she did eventually meet some of the family members, his actual family members. But the stories that my grandmother told me, were, just asking her about her life. And all we did was I put the film on, and then we just had a conversation, started asking her, what does she remember about her parents? What does she remember about her, cousins, friends, brother? What are some things her brother, she had two brothers that she grew up with, some things they did, what was life like, when you were, a kid, what did you do here and there? And then I did the same with my mom in, I think it was 2012. And I learned a lot of stuff about my mom that I never even knew. And we dug out her yearbook, went through her high school yearbook, talking about the things she did in high school. My mother did all kinds of things. She was in the, she was the only black girl who was on like the yearbook and newspaper staff. And my mother, 5'2" of her, apparently they had baseball for girls back when she was in school. She played basketball. She did all these sports. She did all this stuff. And I never even knew that. I never talked to her about it. So doing that on videotape, now that they're both gone, is I can go back and watch it. I can share it with my family. And, but it doesn't even necessarily have to be your mom. It doesn't necessarily have to be your grandparent. Did they know we were recording? Yes. I made sure. No, we did it on video. So we just set up the camera, sat on the couch, and started talking. And with my mom, actually with both, it took more than a day. We did it for my wife and I went down on one weekend for my grandmother. Went down to her house in 97. And it was over 3 days where we just sat down and maybe for 45 minutes to an hour at a time and sat down and took the video. So, but it doesn't have to be your mom, doesn't have to be your grandma. It could be the oldest person in your family or someone, an uncle or an aunt or anyone in your family, and just learn about them. And you'd be amazed things you'd learn about your family, about your history. And it's really cool. And I will never regret doing that. And I highly recommend anyone else doing that. So that is how I'm ending the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. Just a reminder, the 800th anniversary show, Friday, with Ruin Leon and Christian Watson. But we're here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern. And if you haven't done so yet, hit the like button before you go. Also, please share the stream before, during, and after the show. If you're watching a replay, put a comment in the comment section so I know that you're here and I can say hi. And If you want to sponsor the show, like C. Thomas, our old friend, or Ty Alexander, our newer friend, you can do that at pdognight.live for the Streamlabs or YouTube Super Chats down over there somewhere. And or there's a couple other options, Cash App and Venmo, whatever, in the description down below. Also, a reminder, social media, at pdognight, Twitter, Vines, Gab, Parler, CloudHub, Getter. I do all notifications on there. If you don't want to be on Twitter, but you want notifications, I do a notification on each of those platforms. And I'm on several other video platforms. All that video platforms, that information is in the description somewhere down there. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. It is time for me to go. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. My name's P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. No, really, I'm out of here. Go. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.